Sorry, guys. I'm running late, and I was like, I'm just going to even hit live and not worry about my hair. I was going to do it before, but then I saw that I'm really late, and I hate making you guys wait like that. It's the Scientologist in me. So instead of even adjusting myself, I just thought, who cares? Because they know me well enough that that's okay. The hair's not great. I don't know what to do about it. I worked today, and I just thought I haven't gone live, and I need to see you guys. I need to talk to you guys, and I want to know how everybody's doing. Hi, Brooke Elliott. Chow Yun Smut made it. That's amazing. I love Lisa Kelson. Sarah Browett. I love that you're here. Sarah Bowman's here too. Tony's Hooter. Blakey. I love Blake. Thank you, mods. Just as I am made it. Sandy Wandy. Erica's here. Aunt Nene Hobbs. Carrie Wilson. Pepperoni Nips. I love it. Marsha. West Coast Fancy Nancy. Mind Candy. Carry On. Melissa with an S. Florence Southard. Kim Greenleaf, Brian Lucas. You look like you just got off work. Thank you, Brian. I believe that's a compliment. I'm going to choose to take it that way because I love Brian. King's Kid. Sophia's here. Thank you, Sophia. Humble and Kind. Tennessee Treasure Finder. Naomi Hales. Beth Knows Photos. Rachel Sandy. Galen. Thank you, Galen. Helena, I love that you made it. Goosebumps here. Ooh, I love that you were swimming today. That sounds fun. Keela, God, I wish I could have swam more this summer. My sister's whatever subdivision type thing has a pool. We went one time. I'd like to go again. Jay Rambo, Abdazzle, Lynn MCV, Lori Alexander, Natalie Swanson. Hey, Jason P. Allie B. Lumen made it, always makes it. Carol Barnhart, Tracy Murphy, Heather in the library, Rogue Hedgie. Thank you, Rogue Hedgie. Armine, I love that you're here. I know, Brian Lucas, I love you. You're so nice. Susan P. Trixie made it. My other's keeper. Just Joan. Marina. Dirty Mouse. Look, Brian. There's your friend. Laura DePreet. I love Laura DePreet. Lucia's here. Shelly Kelly. Oh, I love Shelly Kelly. Thank you for being here, Shelly Kelly. Roberta. Hey, Brian Lucas is in here. Do you want to say hello? Say hello to Brian so that he can feel bad for you. Actually, we're all very angry with Bo, and I'm not over it. I'm not going to lie. I'm not over it. Guys, we went to Baby Steps. Hi, love that you're here. Thank you for your super chat. Alexa, dude, we went to the farmer's market over the weekend. I posted a picture. Sorry, I got to adjust my bra. This is one of those wireless ones, and I'm crazy about it, but I also felt like it was, had to be, wasn't quite right. We went to the damn farmer's market, and I feel like that's also kind of close. Better? Yeah, I didn't have time to get on here and adjust myself. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now what he did, Sarah Bowman. Okay? Guys, I'm really pissed. He did, Erica. Bo seems to love the bakery, but he ate the entire bakery. I even put it up high, but I forgot that he's 10 feet tall when he stands and walks around on two legs. And that's exactly what he did. Okay? All right. We bought 3 loaves of bread from this amazing lady at the farmer's market. And she was an older lady and she makes it all herself. They were $10 a loaf. I didn't even get to try it. I bought some orange marmalade that she makes. I bought 3 loaves because I bought a loaf for my mom. Well, I buy it for my mom, and my mom's like, well, we won't eat a loaf of bread, so split it in half. So I split it in half. Hey, Jeannie Hansen. Hey, Karen Varmet, I love that you're here. So I had 2.5 loaves. I got banana bread. I got she specializes in sourdough. So we got just a plain sourdough, and then I got one that he shouldn't have eaten that should have made him very sick. It was a rosemary and black olive bread. Dogs can't have black olives. And I'm really angry about it. Hockey Town John, first of all, I love that you're here. Yeah, thank you, Brian Lucas. So he ate all 3. So what was that? $30 worth of bread. And I'm really mad at him. And I'm not over it. And I've told him that I'm really upset about his life choices. Here's why I'm mad at him, guys. Hey, Abigail, I got to send you an email. So I've been I haven't told you guys that. Well, I kind of told you guys this. I've been walking Bo every night consistently. As a matter of fact, Saturday night, I didn't feel very good. and I still went. I felt like I might have been getting sick. Hey, Ewa. Hey, Riley's human. And I wasn't. I feel fine now. I just needed some sleep. Okay. Liz Tricks. But I pushed myself to walk even Saturday night. I made myself do it. And hey, Jam Jam, I love that you're here. So what I'm saying is I pushed myself because of Bo, because he has been such a different dog since we've gotten into a real routine of walking. And I'm really mad at him for it. Like, if I were a Scientologist, I would say I'm extremely ARC broken, because I was ARC broken. ARC stands for Affinity, Reality, and Communication. They use that term a lot, and that's the only term right now that came to my mind. I need a bread box. Huh. Is that what that's for? Maybe I should get a bread box, Lori Driscoll. That's interesting. Hey, Kestrel. God, I'm so pissed at him, though, because I also was like, hey, Debbie Zito, I thought, do I need to worry about this? It's a Sunday. Do I need to find an emergency vet out in the middle of nowhere? Because he ate black olives. There were black olives in the bread. Well, he didn't get sick. As a matter of fact, I walked him last night and nothing. Hey, Kim is blue. I love that you're here. Nothing really happened except today. Now he has the skitters. He definitely has been pooping liquid. So, I'm really mad at him for that. And I told him about it. I said, I'm just not happy about your life choices. Put things in the microwave. That's smart. Hey, Mary Barons. Hey, Loves Alaska. I feel like it's been a minute. Tony Lynn's here. Julie Stevenson. That's a good idea, Julie Stevenson. Put things in the microwave. Maybe I should do the bow toots. Kim is blue. Rain virus. Yeah. I'm so mad at him about it. I'm like, yeah. Oh, black olives are not dangerous. Kestrel's a vet. Works for a vet. Olive pits. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's caused the runs, Kestrel. Well, that's good to know. Hey, Aria. Hey, Dip Me in Glitter. That's good to know. I thought it would make him really sick. Okay. Well, it hasn't made him super sick, but I'll tell you right now, his stomach is like distended. His stomach looks huge. And I did not feed him dinner, of course, last night. I feel like I need to take this out. Should we wear it down? I don't know. Hey, there's my boyfriend.
What's up?
What are you doing?
Grabbing tools.
Tools for what? Oh, are you putting that thing together?
And I'm going to throw this back up to it.
Are they charged?
Uh-huh.
Well, thank you, Poo Poo Pachoo.
Yeah.
I feel like this bra isn't right. Hey, Franklin MC. I don't know. Sorry, guys. Oh, I'm not mad at the dog, Justine. I mean, I've had a chat with him. I told him I wish he would make better life choices, but I'm not mad at him. I haven't punished him. I don't believe in doing that because they really don't know any better. And they, it's more the human's fault. The way I see stuff like that, as mad as I am, I'm more mad. Okay, that's even worse. What's happening? What should we do? Put it back up again? Hey, TKK. Okay, Kestrel. Helena? Whatever. We're just going to go with this. Blonde moment tag. Just realized why it sounds so familiar when I call my bunny Bobo. Oh my God, you're so cute, Helena. I love you. I'm so glad that you're not a lurker anymore. Thank you for your super chat. Hey, Rhonda Frank. Yeah, Justine. Absolutely. Hey, what are you guys doing over there? What are you guys up to? Hey, Bo. Tommy got the tools out and now he's into that. Oh, thank you, Sarah Brow. I put it back up. Lori Lee's here. I have something I want to show you guys that Lori Lee made me. Lori Lee. Guys, Lori Lee is very special to me, and she made something and sent it to Kansas City, and it got lost. I could never get it. And so she made something again. What the heck? Oh, you want to be a part of it too? Of course you do. Why wouldn't you? Silly. Lori Lee. Hey, Catherine DeBage. So she said to Reese, Tommy, and Huxley, the no drama llamas. Is this the cutest thing you've ever seen? She made this. She made that. I know, Helena. It's insane. Gertie is the same size as Bo's head. Hey, Lisa from Jersey. I love that you made it. Is this so cute? It's Lydia. Hockeytown John. Lydia. Lydia, what do you think about your brother's choices? Lori Lee, thank you for being here because I really wanted to show this, but I wasn't. Now who's coming in? It's Moose. But I wasn't, I wanted to show it with you in here. Hey, Sherry LeBron. Aren't people so freaking talented? You guys are so amazing when you hand make things like that. Thank you, Lori Lee. I just want to say thank you. Hey, Tony Hoban. Um, what do you think of your brother's bad choices? The fact that you don't make any bad choices. Are you just judging a lot? She says, I don't even like the guy and he's adopted, to be honest. He's not even a real part of our family. Lydia, I told you not to say that anymore. She says, he's not even my real brother. You're not even his real mom like you are mine. Okay, that's just really rude. And she's been saying that a lot lately to him. We don't think that's appropriate and it's not friendly. He is your real brother and he is really a part of our family. And she says, no, he's not. He's adopted. Okay, that's just not nice. Hi, Jenny Stout. Yes, Abigail, she has. And you are so sweet. Hey, Jane Aldrich. But Lori Lee, seriously, thank you. Hey, Annette Rose. Gertith, yeah, hers are not, well, you're not doing it right, but that still doesn't mean it's a mistake, of course, because we've never made a mistake before. But still, oh yeah, Dirty Mouse, I thought we talked about that. Yeah, Kim is blue, she did. Yes, definitely Dirty Mouse. I love that picture, actually. Amy Edge, give him boiled chicken, white rice, and pure pumpkin. That's a good idea. I've done that a lot, actually, when he has a bad tummy ache. Thank you for your super chat. Stasia. I know I said that right because it's like Anastasia, you said. Bye, Grandma Sunshine Dragon. She's full of judginess. Alana. Oh, you're going to Seattle tomorrow? That's awesome, girl. Seattle's fun. Absolutely, Lori Alexander. It's just a lot of rudeness. I just feel like, lately you've been kind of a little bit more judgy than usual. And I think it's something we should discuss at some point, whenever you're ready, of course, because we don't want to push her at all. We want her to do things on her own time. She is a whole vibe, Anchored Love. She is a whole freaking vibe. And she's incredibly judgy. She judges her mom all day long. And she says, I can judge anybody I want because I was kissed by the Lord. Kissed by the Lord. It doesn't even look real. Oh my God, Tampa B. Karma did see that, Gertrude. Just because you were sent here from heaven. Hey, Heather Clark, you are on earth right now and you have to, we're talking to you, by the way. You have to apply the rules that everybody else does on earth. Just because you're from heaven doesn't mean that you can't be like everybody else. And she says, yes, it does. And I'm better than every one of you. Kiki, I love that you made it. What are you doing? Okay. So I had a specific thing. I have a specific topic that I kind of want to share with you guys. And I wondered your thoughts on this topic. You're amazing, Mary Barons. That's cute, Sarah Browett. You're cute. Yeah, she's done. She's judgy as hell. Lydia is definitely better than you, Rachel Harmon. Unfortunately, she's better than all of us. Yeah, she's better than all of us, Justin Ski. Yeah. Maybe Wyatt should have a talk with her. Did you ever think of that? No, because you only think of yourself. And you're not even nice to your brother, and you should be so judgy and rude to him. It's incredibly rude, Lydia. We're not saying that you've made a mistake. We know you've never done that. We're just saying that we think it's kind of rude. Love you, Yadira. Shards of Words made it. EVM. I love that you're here. So let's discuss this. Yeah, she was kissed by the Lord. Hi, Humby. Okay. He just ate some chicken. He wants me to know it. Hey, Dawn. VTV's here. She's my cult leader. Helena, you're hilarious. So there's some things I want to discuss. Are you going to be willing to sit here for it, or did you want to sit in your own bed? Well, you seem awfully extra judgy today. Okay, so look at the footies. You guys look at it. Look at the footy paws. Look at the footy paws. They take her to and fro. They take her where she needs to go, unless her mom carries her so. Okay. I know that's silly, but I sing songs to her all day long. Kristen Melinda, I love that you're here. I know it's silly, and I know that I kind of forgot that we were on screen. I know, Lisa Kelson, look at him. Look at the nonsense. It's a lot. It's a lot. It doesn't look real, and she smells like a stuffed animal. Oh my God, you're so judgmental, Lydia. Good Lord. Cassie Mosier. Care Bear share. Okay, let's get to it. I'm kind of embarrassed at this point. I feel like I'm just talking to the dog. Okay. I have a question for you guys. It is Lisa Kelson, and it is VTV. That's cute, Rhonda Frank. That's cute right there. So, how many of you, Shannon C, I love that you're here. The Witch Share is here too. Okay, good. Some of you don't mind my interactions with the perfect one. I could do a whole show just with Lydia. Hey, DNV. Thank you, Kestrel. Hey, Mia P. I probably could. A whole episode, says VTV. She's sitting in judgment for sure. She's sitting on a throne of judgment. Oh, she's really tired because she went to her grandma's farm today. Did you go to grandma's farm and run around and chase her Pyrenees? You went there and you bit the Pyrenees in the face, and he's like 180 pounds, and you jumped on him and you told him to go F himself. And just because you came from God himself, I don't think that was the right choice. No, we're not saying it was a mistake. Why do I feel like a ventriloquist all of a sudden? She doesn't even look real. I feel like I'm sitting here like making this thing talk. That's cute, Marina. That's real cute. She did. You went to grandma's today, and she has 2 Great Pyrenees, and you really chased them off the farm. And then you looked at the farm and you said, get the hell off my property. One of these days I'm going to inherit all of this property and you're going to get kicked off. You won't be grandfathered in. It's all going to be left to me. Grandma's leaving everything to me. That's what you told them, and it was really rude. Those are grandma's children, and you were very rude to them today, and you bit him in the face. Thank you, Helena. Back to it. Back to the story. So, how many of you, I know Jam Jam, it's crazy. How many of you, no, she's not sorry at all, Shelly Kelly. She's doubling down on how she feels. She's actually glad that I just told the world that she chased off a Great Pyrenees and told him to go F himself. Hey, Robin Miners. Panko, I love that you're here. Back to the human show. Oh. Well, all right, then. But nobody needs to forgive you because you didn't make a mistake. We're just saying that maybe you want to think about how you treat other people. Not really? She does not play with other dogs, Shannon C. Absolutely not. No. That's true, Helena. Baby girl 8307. I'm glad that you made it. I love you too. Yeah. That's fine. It is weird that she looks taxidermed, isn't it? Oh, all right. We'll kiss the paw and then we have to get back to the show. Okay. That's fine. All right. Would it help if I hold it? Do you want me to let go? Oh, okay. How many people in here? Hey, Mr. Pants. Ev Barney, I'm glad you're here. Karen Tootie Greenie. You're so cute, VTV. We can hold hands through the show if that's what you prefer. I can let go. I don't want you to make it. Oh, all right. I love Sophia, and actually Tampa B. Tommy and I were talking about coming there maybe in October, and I need to know your thoughts on that. I love you, Erica. Hey, Frog Wizard. All right, let's get to it. I know people get mad at me for just spouting out nonsense for the first 30 minutes. She is a good cult leader. Hey, Annette Cruz. So here are our thoughts. I want a show of hands, and I mean this. This is serious. It's something I've been pondering. How many of you have anything, BT Kitten? I love you, Kestrel. Yes, I do. How many of you Thank you, Abigail. That's so kind of you, Abigail. It's very validating. My mom's dog does not like, she has two giant Pyrenees and she chases them off that farm. It's no joke. It's crazy. They look like polar bears and she runs them off. As a matter of fact, my mom posted a picture of them today. Look at me going, look at me. This is why we're losing subscribers, by the way, because nobody wants to be a part of this anymore, obviously, because I can't keep track of anything. My mom posted a picture of her dogs today. These are the dogs. Oh, do you recognize them? Sure you do, you little brat. Those are her Pyrenees. They're huge. That's Bo and Curly. And she chases them off. No joke. She went up and bit Bo in the face. And he was running off with the tail between the legs. Maybe you want to go sit down and think about maybe your actions. And you might want to apologize to grandma because I don't think she's over it. I don't think she's over it. I think she's pretty upset. And I think the rest of the family's upset. And I see the smile on your face. And I think you need to go think about it. Okay. Hey, Ivy's mama. It's ridiculous. Is it not ridiculous? Oh, they're huge. They look like polar bears. They're enormous. In person, their heads are so big. All right. Back to the show. Yeah. Well, she does chase bulls. You're right. Hey, Annika's mom. Dawn Gloves. I love that you're here. Make better choices, Lydia. Absolutely. All right. So here's the real talk, guys, because I really am thinking about this. And we can do funny, fun things and think about things at the same time. Can we not? Hi, Itchy Thetans. Of course we can. Might as well keep the people we have because we're not adding more people apparently to this group. There's um Bo doesn't get along with the dogs much. He doesn't do anything with them. I wish he would. I really wish that he would play with them. I wish they all could get along, but they pretty much all separate. And once they try to get close, Gertie goes and attacks them. So there's really no chance of that. How many people in here have past experiences, whether they be in the beginning of your life or 10 years ago or your seventh marriage, no judgment, or, what have you, where something really got to you and you haven't gotten over it, but you might not have talked about it much. Does that make sense? Like maybe you haven't thought it through. You just think about it to yourself, but you don't really bring it up to the person maybe it happened with, or you don't bring it up with your therapist, or you don't bring it up with your spouse, or it just dings away at you. It just kind of puts a dent in your soul, but you don't really. Yeah, okay, wow, all right, quite a few of you. I'm happy to hear this because I was thinking about this, and there are Indigo's insights. Yeah, Evie for sure. Okay, Haggis Basher, I'm sorry to hear your father died. What's the story? Tori has one thing. I knew I wasn't alone. But the question I have more about it, more in depth. Joe Virus, I love that you're here. I talk about stuff all the time too. But at the same time, some of these things are things that I keep to myself. And I'm like, why am I keeping those things to myself? Jen Marie, the question was kind of the title of the video. Like, how many people have past experiences that still kind of haunt them, that you haven't dealt with, that maybe you just haven't said out loud? Now, of course, there are some it goes deeper than this. And I realize there are deep things that some people don't want to talk about. Maybe you've got something that was horrific that you're not willing to relive. I understand that too. But the reason this whole topic came up is Tommy's brother, Johnny. You guys know Johnny, right? Over at Chase the Heat. Tommy and Johnny are writing a book. And Tommy has talked about this at length. It's actually about finished. It's kind of in the editing mode. And Mama Joe, I'm glad you made it. But we don't have time for this. And absolutely, Dawn. I understand that. Dawn says fear, Reese. We don't want to talk out loud about it because then it's reality. Absolutely. Yeah, Brian Lucas says my childhood too. Right. So that's my point. Well, Tommy, speak of the devil and he shall appear. What are you doing in here, poo poo head? Oh, aren't you a cute little poo poo pachu? Say hi to the camera.
Hello, everybody.
Aren't you adorable? Next time, maybe don't wear a shirt.
There you go.
You feeling okay? You have a shirt on. Hi, I need a card. I love that you made it. So, Tommy is here with me, as you guys know. Gracie, I'm glad you made it. Tommy is here with me in Tennessee right now. And he and his brother have been going back and forth on this book at length, right? Because it's about their lives. And Pierre, I'm glad that you're here, by the way. And it's affected him like greatly. Like greatly. There are some things. Hey, Incarnasol, there are some things that he has been having to deal with that are heavy things. And his brother has had to call him and say, Debbie, I'm glad you made it. His brother has had to call him and say, tell me this story or how it went, because it wasn't his brother's story. It was Tommy's story, right? Or they have to look at a story together and examine it and make sure that's the correct story. Well, that has brought up a lot of dirt, like past for him. Who is jacking around with the door? Glenda? I didn't think it would be you, Glenda. Go find a spot in your bed and don't come back till you've thought about what you did at Grandma's. Really? All right. Well, if Glenda wants to be held, Glenda gets what she wants, that's for sure. Look at the nonsense. We just brushed all this. So it made me think, right? It made me reflect on it. And I thought, are there things that oh my God, I just love it so much. Every time I look at you, I feel like I've never seen you before. I just fall deeper in love. Every time, even though you were rude to people. It's hard not to, though. It's so kissy. I really love to kiss you. You're so kissy. And as smelly as it is, I don't mind it at all. Oh. God, she's so cute. It does. It churns things up, right? So he's being forced to deal with some of that stuff. And I feel bad for Tommy because it's okay, Rogue Hedgie. I think you should go find a place to sit. Oh my God. Well, nobody's that upset with you, Liddy, but we kind of are at the same time. Why don't you go think about your life, Glenda? Reflect on it. Hey, Joanne Ventrilla. Hug tax for Tommy. Reprocessing can be quite difficult. Yes, Indigo's Insights. Thank you for your super chat. It's true. Jody T, I'm just glad you made it. I feel like I have to blow my nose. Nobody listen. I'm going to mute it. So it got me thinking. And he's, of course, so good at processing things. Tommy talks to his therapist. Tommy does a lot. Hey, Holly. Tommy does a lot of journaling, as you guys know. So I don't always process things that way, as you guys know. And I thought I would come on here. And there are some things that I want to talk about. Hey, Patricia. There are some deep things that I kind of want to get into. And if you don't mind, I would like to do that, if that's okay with you. I thought of some specific things that weigh on me that I thought I never really shared that. It's just been with me. Right? Does that make sense? Karen, I love you, girl. Thank you. I know, Shannon. See, it's difficult. Debbie Lima, I miss you too. I'm glad you're here. So I want to share some stuff with you. Thank you, West Coast Fancy Nancy. And of course, we're not going to get into all of it today. But, one of the things was, of course, being in the cadet org. That's something that weighs on me. There were just things that, and the cadet org, if no one knows, is in the Church of Scientology. I was taken to the Sea Org for Kids. That's what that is. It's the Sea Org for Kids. And so that's okay, Karen. I appreciate you. Just like that whole experience, I didn't have much. We were taken there and split up immediately, my dad and my sister. So I didn't see them for the whole time I was there. And I was placed in a group of kids that were my age, and they were really harsh, the people that were in charge of the kids. And we had to run all the time. And I had bad asthma. And I remember they wouldn't let me use my inhaler because you can't really, it's frowned upon. Raymond, I love that you're here. You can't, I wasn't allowed to use, thank you, Bonnie Lou. I wasn't allowed to use my inhaler in Scientology. And I had a breathing machine. Hey, Gretchen Only, I love that you made it. This was in Clearwater. Yeah. So I had a breathing machine and everything as a child, and I wasn't allowed to use it there. And for some reason, that's like one experience that just kind of sits with me. It isn't it weird when you really think about certain experiences that live with you as you get older? Does that make sense? Am I making sense? And some of them are smaller. For instance, the other one I thought of, I've never shared out loud with anybody, and it's not because I'm embarrassed or I don't want to. I just realized I haven't shared this out loud. It just sits with me. So when I got back from the Sea Org, itchy thetans, not so much. I don't have any long-term health impacts from not being able to use my inhaler. Not really. I've kind of outgrown my asthma. I do have to have an inhaler everywhere I go. So every time I switch a purse, so I have my inhaler. Catherine J, I'm glad you made it. I have my inhaler always next to the bed. I don't know why, but I've had a lot of night asthma attacks. Like I wake up and I can't breathe. It's really weird. And then I always keep an inhaler in my purse. I have to have an inhaler. Like if I leave the house and I don't have my inhaler, I panic. So, yeah, I guess I would still say that I have asthma, but it creeps up on me. So I don't know when I'm going to have an asthma attack. Martha Slemmer, thank you. I got your t-shirt. I love you. And I got my heart. Martha, I love you. I just really love you. I just love that I know you in real life too. You're amazing. Thank you, Martha. So it's more of like almost a security blanket for me, probably my inhaler, because when I go see my new doctor, for instance, they're going to ask me about it. And I'm going to say I have to use it probably 8 times a year. I don't have to use it that often, but I'll tell you what, if I have an asthma attack, I need it. I can't breathe. I start turning pale. I can't breathe. Jen Marie, absolutely. You too, Robert John the Kiwi. So that was scary because I couldn't breathe. I remember them making us run all the time in the cadet org. And then after that, we had to clean all the adults' food. That they called it the galley, I think. If I'm right, I think that's right. That's the word that comes to my mind. Every time we had to serve the food for the adult Sea Org members, and then we had to clean the entire kitchen every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So I was 7 years old. There was no education. I was pulled out of regular, just public school, grade school, and there was no education. We were just there running all day. I lost a ton of weight. Yeah, okay. Then, yeah, that's it. The galley. Yeah, that's what it was. We had to clean the galley. And it was weird because I had a fairly normal my dad was very much a jerk at that point. Yeah. It was fairly normal. Like I had friends in school. I went to the same school, and he just plucked us out of school one day and took us, and we joined the Sea Org. So that always sits with me. Yes, breathing in chemicals, VTV, that's my biggest trigger. So if I remember the corporate job I used to have, oh my God, during COVID was so hard for me because they would spray this stuff and I was just like all day long. I couldn't breathe. It would like close my throat. So certain chemicals certainly make me trigger my asthma. So we get back from the Sea Org. So that's something that sits with me. That's just one of the things that I wanted to share with you that sat with me, that sits with me still to this day. I'm 40 years old. Heather, Kansas, I'm glad you made it. Thank you, the witch share. It's okay, guys. Hey, Cindy Edge. Actually, I want to talk more about my experience there in depth. So we get home. Jamie Palmer, I'm glad you're here. We get home and from the Sea Org, right? It didn't work out. We leave. We get home. I was in the Sea Org at 7. Yeah. Renee Rainbow. Hey, Amber. And my sister leaves. She's 4 years older than me and she moves out. Brianna, my sister. And that's the last time I ever lived with my sister. So at that point, we come home, and I'm probably 8 at this point. And then from then on, it was me and my father. My sister left and moved in with my mom, and then she joined the Sea Org in California. So I never lived with her again. So I am moving here to Tennessee for the first time. I'm living in the same city as my sister since I was 8 years old. We have not hardly had a life together. We weren't raised together after the age of 8. We don't know each other that well. So living here in Tennessee is amazing for me that I'm 30 minutes away. As a matter of fact, I'm hoping to have lunch with her tomorrow. We're waiting to see how one of her kids feels. He may have to stay home from daycare. But it's amazing that I'm just now getting to know my sister because we were not raised together. It's not like, we grew up together and have all these experiences and memories together. I don't know a whole lot about her. So when we got back, she left. So it was just me and my dad. Well, another experience that sits with me pretty often that kind of comes up for me. My sister Amber went and lived with my mom for a short time. My mom was in Kansas City and I was in Omaha. And then my sister joined the Sea Org at 14 in LA. So she joined the Sea Org. And so we get back and we had a cat when we got back. Yes, the divorce was hard on us. Absolutely. It was very weird not seeing my mother after the age of 6. No, Raymond, we don't because my sister has 2 little kids now and it's really hard to see her. They just have a pretty regimented schedule and she's picked up more hours at work. And so it's just hard to see her. I really wish that we could, but I think I'm probably going to have to wait a couple of years till the kids are more in school. Like they're both in daycare and it's just hard to see her right now. They just have a life, they have this whole life. But no, I definitely want to make time to plan out seeing her. So we get back. My sister was not in the Sea Org for very long. I'm hoping she'll do a live with me at some point and talk about this, especially now that we live in the same state. I want to say she was in the Sea Org for a year, but I'm not even sure of that. So something else that really weird happened that sits with me a lot is, and I don't know why this sits with me a lot. It's such a weird memory, right? And I've never shared this before. Okay. Probably not Abigail. She has her own, she's very scheduled and structured. We get back and we had this cat. We had a Siamese cat and his name was Max. And I love animals. You guys know that. Well, my dad was never around much. I was just thinking this the other day. I can remember when we got back from the Sea Org and my sister moved out, my dad left for days at a time. He was a heavy, heavy pool player and he was in a lot of tournaments and he drank. And so he was in tournaments and he played pool all around like the tri-state area. He would leave. So I would walk to school. I would walk home from school. I would feed myself. And I can remember being like 9, 10, 11 years old. And I didn't even celebrate my birthday with anybody. My dad was just gone. That's why I told you guys George Carlin raised me because I would just watch reruns of George Carlin's stand up all the time. When I was 8, 9 years old, he would leave for days. And it was really weird being, just a little kid. But it wasn't weird because it was my routine and I was used to it. It was a little weird, sleeping in a big house alone. We had like a 3-bedroom house growing up, and that was weird for me. I got scared at night. Um, do you know what org she worked at? I don't know. I'd have to ask her, Amber. I don't know. I didn't even know she didn't go to high school until recently. So no, I wish I knew that, but I don't. Alana, same thing with my sister. Ask hers to be built on her schedule, like once a month. Yes, absolutely. As a matter of fact, I said that yesterday. I'd like to do hey, EVM, I'd like to do a once a month take her to lunch or something like that. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for your super chat, Alana. Oh yeah, I just watch George Carlin all the time. And like I said, I mean, I didn't have close friends. I went to and from school, and I just remember even like being 9 years old, and it was my birthday, and my dad wasn't there and my mom wasn't there, and just another day. It was just so weird. So anyway, we had this cat, and this is such, I'm building stuff. It's not that big of a deal, but for some reason it sticks with me. I remember one morning, it was like a Saturday or a Sunday. There was no school. And come on, Bo. Is Gert in here? Is Lydia in here?
I'll look for her. I don't see her.
I don't know why they're wandering around. They usually sit with me. And there she is. She's in here. She's in here. Thank you. Hey, Jen Pookie. Bead Maniac. It's okay. I'm glad you made it. It was a Saturday or Sunday morning, and he happened to be home. It was one weekend that he was home. And I'm sitting there watching cartoons or TV or whatever I'm watching. And that was rare for me because my dad did not believe in that. He was a very heavy duty Scientologist. Sitting around watching TV was a no-no. You are to be productive. I did housework all the time and yard work, pulling weeds all the time. So I think that's one of the reasons I don't sit. Like, people are like, you don't watch this show or you don't watch YouTube? No, because it's still kind of built into me that I need to be active. I need to not be idle, and I need to be productive. Ask a lot of Scientologists that. A lot of us have that in common. Hi, Aileen. So I'm sitting there, and he walks up to me, and I had on like a pajama top. It wasn't a t-shirt. It was like down to my thighs, probably. It wasn't like, I had underwear on. I remember this. I had underwear on, which is what I sleep in now, and a long t-shirt. Like it wasn't a t-shirt that was like to my waist. It was long. And I'm sitting there, and the cat was in my lap. I was sitting cross-legged, and the cat was in my lap, and I'm sitting there petting the cat, and I'm watching this show, and my dad walks up to me, and remember, he called me Reese. My real name is Marisa. And whenever he was upset with me or wanted to really hardcore drive home Scientology, like L. Ron Hubbard quotes, he'd call me Marisa. He was real stern about it. Marisa. Yeah. Normal teenager sleepwear. I'm not like sitting there in a bra. And he walks up to me, and I'm petting the cat, and he's staring at me. And my dad never spoke to me. He hardly said a word to me when he was home. And I remember this very clearly, but I've never talked about it. And I went, "Hi, Dad." And he went, "Marisa." And I was like, ugh. My dad was so intimidating. He scared the ever-loving shit out of me all the time. His eyes, he was always angry. He was always disappointed. Nothing was good enough, I promise. Like, he was never like, "Hey, you want to go to lunch? I just love you. You're my kid. Let's do something." Never. He was always angry. So we went, "Marisa." And I was like, uh-huh. This is what he says to me. I'll never forget it. It was so fucking cringy. I'm embarrassed to say it at this point. I've never admitted to that. I mean, it's not that I didn't want to admit to it. It's just, I've never talked about it. He goes, "Don't play with yourself on the couch," with this look of disgust. And I knew what that meant. I was pretty sure I knew what that meant. And I was so embarrassed. And I was like, what? Like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? And it shamed the ever-loving shit out of me. I was so taken aback, and like, I felt my chest cave in. I was like, what? And I was so embarrassed. I was like, first of all, like, I wasn't doing that. I'm watching TV holding my cat. And I don't know what gave him that impression, but it has never left me. It has always weighed me down. Like, I've thought about it till now. And I think about it now because I have a child way older. I was like 9 years old when he did that to me. My kid's 14. I cannot imagine, as much as people say I'm a bad mom and I share too much and I poor Huxley, I cannot imagine sex shaming or shaming in general my kid. Yeah, it was absolutely a cringe. Yeah, I felt very twisted up like a pretzel. I was like, I think I know what that means. I wasn't entirely sure, but I knew it had a sexual undertone. And I was so embarrassed. I was so fucking mortified by that. I remember for days carrying that. I was just like, am I like a sexual deviant? Is there something I'm doing that I didn't like? I was confused. I was very confused. And then, yeah, it was horrible, you guys. It was so horrible. And I just wanted to share it with you because I still carry it to this day. I still carry that. I'll never forget the angle of how I looked at him and went, "Hi, Dad." Like, it's all relived in my mind. I know exactly where everything was, the couch I was sitting on, the length of my shirt, the way the cat was positioned, the way he went, "Marisa." And I was just like, uh-huh. Like, I was so scared already, and it's just so weird. It's such a weird feeling. It is so violating. Yes, West Coast fancy, Nancy. Yeah. And I just, now that I'm a mother, I just am like, what? How? Why would you say that to a child? And I was truly a child. I was under the age of 10. And it just made me feel terrible. So then fast forward, not that much later, um, one of the things my dad did a lot was date. He always had different women and he would go stay at different women's homes, or he would bring different women back to the house and they would have loud sex. It was horrific. And I don't know, Amber, Scientology parents are weird. um but my dad met this woman in Kansas City and we lived in Omaha. And I've said this before. I don't know, Panko, that's a good question. I've said this before, but he said to me, um, he was dating this woman named Melinda, and I never got to meet her. But he drove to Kansas City a lot to see her. So he would leave me in Omaha and go to Kansas City. And I've shared this before, but it's still something that sits with me all the time. He shows me a picture of her. And I said, I'm guessing I was around 10 at this point. I'm guessing. I might have been 9, I might have been 11. I don't know. But I said, she looks old. That was what I said. And he says to me, and again, I just shrunk. He says to me, well, at least she's never been as fat as you are. And again, I still carry that to this day hardcore. That has some serious weight to it. Like, I still really carry my father's words. I remember my dad's really tall. He's like 6'4". And I remember being like short, and small and looking at him. And he went, well, at least she's never been as fat as you are. And I was like, ugh. Like, it just felt like a bullet. It was so horrible. And I wonder to this day, I'm like, is that why I walk around going, I'm so fat, I'm so ugly, I'm so fat, I'm so ugly? I do it all the time. But anyway, I wanted to share that because I carry those things. And I'm not sure, Bo, why are you so on the go? Can you please, like, what are you guys doing? Why do you guys have FOMO today? Do we have a troll? I didn't see him. Yeah, it does help to talk about it and it helps to share, even though it's fairly embarrassing. It's embarrassing. The first thing I just told you guys, I've never said out loud, not even in a Scientology auditing session. And it's embarrassing. And it really made me feel ashamed, big time ashamed. And I wonder if he's, hold on, guys. I'm going to call Tommy and tell him to come take him out because I'm afraid if he has the shits again. Like he's pacing. He looks like he has to go to the bathroom. Okay, he just laid down. I don't know. He's laying down, so I feel good about it. Okay. Absolutely, Panko. He made me feel less than. Thank you, BTV. Yeah, he did not protect my innocence. Well, he didn't protect anything. And I was fairly used to that. Like, it wasn't that upsetting to me. But that was a new low for me. Like, it was just incredibly embarrassing. So I wanted to share that. And there's another thing that I've only shared in a Scientology auditing session. And I carry it with me and I feel like I want to share it today. And it's dark. Okay, so trigger warning, it's deep and it's dark. But after that, after he did those two things, I don't know what it was, but it was those two things that really got to me. And like, I've never even shared this with Tommy. No one knows this. I've only shared this in a Scientology auditing session. And it's because I'm embarrassed. And it's makes me feel ashamed a little bit, but my dad said short, fat, and squatty. I'll ask nobody. That's horrible, Gamer Jackie. And I'm so sorry he did that to you. That's horrible. But I remember after that happened and after being left alone, I just got more and more lonely as a kid. Like from the age of 8. Bye, Aria. Love you, girl. From the age of 8 to 13 is when I first went to the Church of Scientology to do real services. I was left alone. So I started to get depressed. And I would guess so too, baby steps, that he's responsible for those feelings. I would guess so. And I've never really deep dived into this, and I think we should. I did not practice revenge, Lumen. I love you, Leslie D. I love that you're here. And I've never shared this, and I don't mind sharing it now. I feel like I can do it. But I think around the age of 11 or 12, he started taking me to those bars at night where he would hustle pool, if you guys remember that story. And this has always sat with me, and I've never shared it, but he would take me to those bars and all the older men would hit on me, and I'd be there till 2 or 3 in the morning. And it was such a sleaze feeling. I had all these older men. I was like 11 years old.
Is this a call?
Yeah, Bo is pacing.
Okay, come on, Bobo.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I felt used. I felt dirty. There was all these older men that would hit on me at this bar. And my dad knew it. And I don't know if he was doing it intentionally. I don't know. I'll never know that. But I felt very empty. Like I just didn't feel like I was getting attention from the proper channels of people that I should have. And I didn't have any friends. And I had one friend And his name, I talked about this the other day. I kind of forgot about it, but things are coming up to the surface. His name was Roy, and he lived a block away. And we walked to school together every day. We walked to and from school, and it went on for a long time. Did he already go out?
Yeah, he peed for about a minute and a half.
Okay. And Bobo, can you go lay down? Please lay down. You're making me nervous because you're not being yourself. Bo, babe, so I think he needs to go out again.
All right, take him out. Come on,
He's acting weird. Sorry, guys. Abigail, you're leaving. Love you, babe. This kid didn't show up one morning, and he this was 7th grade at this point. We made it to 7th grade. We walked to school together in 6th grade and 7th grade. And he didn't show up one morning. And I waited and waited, and he didn't come. And I found out he hung himself. And it really, Rhonda McNeil, I love you, girl. It really took a toll on me. And that was my only person that I walked to and from school with. And I didn't really know quite how to deal with that. And I didn't have anybody to talk to about it. And it just kind of made me think. And I remember that I found a 9mm, and it was loaded in my dad's closet. And it was, I found it, and I just thought about it for days. And I remember, I think at this point, I don't know, maybe I was 10 or 11, and I had never had thoughts like that. But I think I reached a breaking point. And I remember just thinking, nobody cares. Like, no one cares. I don't feel like I need to be here. And it was just such a dark place. And I just remember getting that thing out, and it was crazy. I don't really want to trigger anybody, right? But I got it out, and I very seriously was like kind of messing with it and trying to figure out, how do I, is there like something I need to do before I pull the trigger? And I remember putting it to my head and just thinking, I don't need to be here. Like, he doesn't care. He doesn't even come home. And that's all I'll say about it, because I don't want to upset anybody. I realize that's a very deep, dark subject. And I have never talked about that. But I talked about it. I worked, when I joined staff, in what's called HCO. And HCO is the Hubbard Communications Office, and it's the highest, most ethical part of the organization. And I had been on staff for 2 years in that department, and they did this sec check. They did a security check on me. And one of the questions is, have you ever had thoughts of unaliving yourself? And I said, yes. And I went into detail about it. And I got in so much trouble from saying that, from admitting to that. I got put into lower conditions. I got put onto an ethics program, shamed the shit out of me for that, because Scientologists don't do that. And I was ripped off my post. I was taken away from that job because I was what's called outqualled. I was no longer qualified to work in the highest, most ethical department of the org. And that really was upsetting for me. One, to be told, you're a piece of shit and you can't do this job anymore that we trusted you to do because you had thoughts when you were 11 years old of blowing your head off and we can't trust you anymore. So they pulled me off of my job, my post is what it's called. And I was put in lower conditions that I never got out of. And at that point, I was 15, 16. Hey, Becky USA. And losing my friend like that and not having the right channels, a counselor, somebody to talk to unpack that. I love you, Raymond. Yeah, this is why people don't talk about it. Yeah, Castrol, it does. But it's just some heavy things that have been on my mind lately that I want to unpack with you guys, that I want to talk about with you guys. And I hope you don't mind. And I realize some of it is really heavy and upsetting. And I apologize for that if it is too much for you. And I understand if it's too much for you. Trust me. But I also feel like at this point in my life, there are things that are coming to the surface. And this channel is about wherever it goes. And that a big part of it is healing. I cry for the little girl, Reese. Nothing to be ashamed of. It was to be expected. Baby steps, thank you for that. And your super chat. I appreciate that. Hey, Muffet Lou. I have struggled with thoughts like that since I was 5, 6 years old, and I still do. I know you do, Brittany. We've talked about this. I relate so much. I'm so sorry. You deserved better. Brittany, thank you. And I love some of the success stories that you have had, that you've shared personal thoughts with me on about this subject. And I think I don't want to. My friend was not in Scientology. No, Lori Lee. Sending you and your inner child all the love. Sharona, thank you. I love you. Thank you for being a member. I don't know, Deborah. I love that, Panko. In order to move on, we have to face these tragic circumstances. We do. I mean, I don't speak for everybody. We don't. Some people don't. And some people process things in other ways. But I have things that I haven't thought about in a long time. I love that, Rachel. Okay. Thank you, Rachel Harmon. I have things that are coming to the surface now that I haven't thought about for a long time. And I want to share those things with you if that's okay. And the reason I want to share them is because I truly believe that it's healing for me. And I believe that it's healing for other people. And it helps other people kind of dive through things and work through things with their therapist or whatever, however they process things, journal, whatever it may be. You are trying to heal. It's not too much. West Coast Fancy Nancy. That's so nice. Thank you for saying that. Incarnasol, it's very heavy, but it shows how far you have come that you are ready to begin doing your inner child work with us. You had no support then, and these were traumatic experiences. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. Hey, Ann Hummingbird, it's part of your healing journey. Here for you, Reese. Thank you, the witch share. I often confront thoughts like that myself. They're never overwhelming, but it seems that's just something the mind considers now more than ever. Understood, Blake. I know that. Kim is blue. I'm glad you were able to bring this to light, Reese. It's sad, but you're right. Maybe it helps heal. It does. I see Panko says it's very healing for us too. Hey, Gina Marie. And whether I like it or not, some of this stuff is bubbling up to the surface for me. I don't know why. I don't know why all of a sudden in my life, I feel like there are things that are just kind of getting higher and higher to the surface. And I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I need to deal with that. And it's everyday things that weigh on me, that weighs on me. That kid taking his life has always weighed on me. I had such deep talks with him. We walked to school together every day. I don't know what brought that on. I don't remember him ever talking about it. All of a sudden, he was gone. And I couldn't deal with it because I didn't have a parent even home. He wasn't even there for me to come home crying to. I remember I went home and cried and cried and cried, and there was nobody there. And it's just, I can't imagine that for my kid now. It's rough. So there's some things like that that are a long time ago that I'm remembering now that affect me to this day. There's something else that I've been thinking a lot about lately, and I don't know why. And it's not Scientology. Hey, little mink. Okay, Joanne, thank you. In my more recent relationship, you guys know which one I'm talking about. Thank you, Helena. You're right, VTV. In that more recent relationship, right? You guys know who I'm talking about, right? If it is going to free your demons, then you should let it out. It's what will make you heal and feel like the amazing person you are. Love you, Reese. Joanne, I love you too. And thank you for saying that. It's very validating. Thank you for saying that. It's all coming to the surface, gamer Jackie, because now probably because of what's going on stress wise. Also because you're safe and you have a safe person in Tommy, where your mind can say, "Hey, we can deal with this now." See, I think you're right. I think you're right on the money there. Yes, Raymond, you're in a safe space. Learning that talking about these things have a healing effect, so it makes sense this stuff would come up now, and you've lost 300 pounds of dead weight. Absolutely, I think you guys are right. And as long as you're willing to go with me on this path, I'd like to talk about this stuff. I won't do it every time, but I just feel like I need to. I need to get it out. I love Liz Tricks. Candy's life, we always care that you're here. I feel alone even though I am not. Candy's life, you are not alone. Not ever. You have worked through enough that your mind is bringing up the hard stuff because you are ready. That's what I thought too, Liz Tricks. You know, I probably wasn't ready before. And I think Fred has a lot to do with this, helping me, because I also truly believe that Fred, hey, Otter Dancer, helps me to kind of deal with things in the right as they come in the right time. I couldn't have probably dealt with all of this at once before. And I was dealing with the past relationship and all the stress of that. And so I think now that I'm in a safe place, I'm in my own place. I'm in my own place that I pay for. And that to me is very freeing. It's very freeing to know that I'm a mother that's providing for me and my kid. Like it feels a whole lot different to be able to say that. I don't rely on anybody. And it's a nice feeling. You can share with me anything and anytime. I love you, baby steps. Thank you. Thank you for your super chat. So with the more current relationship I was in, right? Years ago, before I was married. As a matter of fact, I was 35. Okay. That person who I was dating at the time, we all know who it is. Hold on, my mom is texting. Sorry, guys. That person who I was dating at the time asked me to go to their office and make a copy of their passport or something like that. They were not in town. So I go to the office and I'm dating this person. Keep that in mind. This person had an assistant who I didn't know. This was a woman. Hey, Monica M. I just want to share this. I need to get it out. Shelly, I love that you're here. This person had an assistant who is much older, like about around his age, much older than me at the time, and had been working for him for about 10 years, right? So I go into the office and I don't know this person that well. I think I had met this person once, okay? And I go in to make the copy, and there's clients there, and I make the copy in his office. Okay, I go to his office. He's got a whole building. I go to his office specifically to make this copy. I'm done. I'm getting ready to leave. And this woman walks into his office, shuts the door to his office, and holds the door shut so I can't get out. Okay, she's holding it closed. Well, I was pretty timid then. I was not real, oh, hell no. If that had happened to me now, we would have a different. I just think as you get older, too, I can speak to this. As you get older, you get a little bit more ballsy and secure in yourself. And I would never allow that now. I just want to say that. So this person holds the door shut. I can't get out. Okay. And she says, spends about 10 to 12 minutes with me, holding me hostage in this place with this door shut. I had not been with this person for very long, probably 6 months, maybe been dating. And she's holding the door shut and she goes, this isn't going to last. And she goes, I don't know how old you are. And I said, I'm 35. And she goes, but this is completely inappropriate. She's like, the relationship that you're having with him is completely inappropriate. And she was like, he could be your father. And she goes, and also, I thought you were in your late 40s. Guys, I still don't have any forehead wrinkles. Let's pretend that a murderer walks in. Hold on. I still don't have any forehead wrinkles. Come on. Late 40s? No. This was 5 years ago. I had to have looked even younger then. That's ridiculous. Look, you could have pegged me at 40, late 40s. I'll never forget that. Late 40s? No. Look, I realize my neck looks old. I have this wrinkle here, and I don't know what I'm going to do about that when I'm in my 60s. I really don't. I have a lot of fear about it daily. I look at the thing and I'm like, where did that come from? Is it because I was a smoker? Is it because I eat too much? I don't know. But I am worried about that wrinkle. I feel like I'm going to look like the lady from Beetlejuice that smokes all the time, that's dead, that's like their agent, you know? I feel like I'm going to look like that. Anyway, yeah, late 40s. Come on. Come on. So a turtleneck, I can't wear a turtleneck every day. Now, I do look kind of good in turtlenecks. I mean, that isn't a bad look. It also looks like a floating head. But I can't do that every day. I'm sorry, Ivy's mama, I just can't. So I'm sitting here blinkless at this point, right? Like I'm blinkless. And she's not really letting me get a word in. And meanwhile, this woman's hand is on this door and she's just barking at me. And she's like, this isn't going to last. And she was like, he was married before you and he's not going to get remarried. And I was like, okay. Hey, Amanda, dear. So, hey, former account. Teresa, I love that you're here. I just said, I was like, I'm not marrying him. We're just dating. And I don't know what to say to you. And before we leave, before she lets me out, she holds this door shut and she says, and you're not going to tell him, right? She goes, you're not going to tell him anything about this conversation. And at this point, I'm kind of shaking. I was like, okay, just let me out of here. So I remember getting in the car and calling my mother. And I told her what happened. And she was like, "Are you going to tell him?" And I said, "Yeah, that's nuts." And she was like, "Maybe you shouldn't tell him. I don't know how close their relationship is. It's weird." And I was like, "I don't know, but I'm telling him." So I go back to his house. I had my own house. I go to his house and I told him, and I started bawling. I felt very intimidated and threatened by this woman. And you know what he does? He goes, "Well, hey, Boris." He goes, "Well, I wasn't there." And I was like, "What does this mean?" And he goes, "Well, it's an employee. I can't do anything about it. I wasn't there." And I was like, "Don't you want to do something about it? Like, don't you?" Well, as we come to find out, as I'm dating this person more and more, this person's male friends start ass grabbing me. One of them grabbed me by the hair. I mean, in his vicinity, and he was like, "Well, I didn't see it, so sorry." So we come to find out, right, that this was this person's MO. Now that's on me. I wasn't married yet, and I should have never gotten married because that only got so much worse. That person hated me. And I know that she got so furious that we got married. Now, this woman was married, but she was just super. Oh, that's what she said to me with the door shut. She says to me, I forgot about this. She was super religious, super religious. And she's holding this door shut and she goes, "Do you read the Bible?" And I was like, "No, I've never read the Bible." And she was like, "Well, he would never marry somebody who's never read the Bible." And I said, "Okay, that's fine. I'm okay." And this was his assistant, Shelly, and still is. And I think she still is. I mean, I don't know for sure. Assistant Christian? Yeah. And she goes, "Hey, Maureen Kinsey," she goes, "You need to read the Bible. You need to find Jesus." And she said, in the Bible, she was like, women, what was the word she used? Dominate. She used the word dominate, the men. And she goes, "I dominate him." I was like, what? It was the craziest, weirdest situation that had ever happened. So I'm only telling you guys this because I've never shared it before. Hey, V bombs, I've never shared it. And I thought that was so weird. So then we get married, and of course the hatred rises, right? Like then I become a bitch. Like this person has to come to my house a lot for him to sign checks or whatever. Oh yeah, like I was hardly spoke to her. That's how I was a bitch. Like she'd come over to my house and I'd be like, "Can you knock?" Or I'd be like, "He's in his office." Like I was so rude to her just being petty. I remember being so, and then I remember years going by and I thought, I hate this whole dynamic. I hate it because I'm not rude to people like that ever. Like that's not like me. I'm not trying to say I'm not rude, but I'm not like out to be rude to people. And I was out to be rude to this person. I was ugly to her. Like, and the tables turn. Like she would be like, "Here's the ugly letter I got, member, from that person." She'd be like, "Here you go. I was told to give you this." And I'd be like, "Thank you. Goodbye." I was so rude to her at every chance I could get. So one day I went into the office and I was in the room with him and her. And she's trying to be nice and kiss assy. And I said, "I'll be right back. I have to go to the bathroom." And I hit record on my phone and I set my phone down. Recordable Reese, don't forget. So I set my phone down and I wish I had stayed in the bathroom longer. So I go to the bathroom and I come back. Hey, Pat Kimbrell. This was just for fun. I just wanted to know what would she say about me. So I go to the bathroom, I come back, and then I hit unrecord and I go outside while they're still inside and I start listening. And I go to the bathroom, and the second I shut the door behind me, she goes, "Shush, shush, 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 shush." She goes, "I have something I need to say to you." Like she totally flipped from like, "Okay, uh-huh." And then she went into like mean, dominating control mode. "Cindy Funk, I love you." And she goes, she was like, "Do you understand what's going on? She was like, you need to figure out your finances. And she starts yelling at him, like just taking him apart. And he does nothing. He does nothing. This is what used to make me so mad. That guy would eat me alive. He would call me a cunt. He would say horrible things in front of my kid. He never yelled at her. He would always apologize to her. She also was a total emotional manipulator. If he tried to correct her, she'd start crying. It was her go-to. Like, if he tried to say, hey, I don't like that you did that, she'd start crying. And then he would go, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to make you cry. It was horrific. It was this horrible cycle. I don't know why we're going into this other than it pertains to this, because I carry it with me all the time and I'm trying to unload it. So I guess so, Itchy Thetans. So I listened to this recording, and she's like, you need to watch your finances around her. And he goes, she's my wife. He was like, my finances are our finances. And she goes, yeah, I don't think so. She was like, you need to pay off your credit card debt. She's only making things worse. And then she goes, I'm just saying. And that was it. And I was like, I was so angry. I was like, ugh. So he gets in the car, and guys, I don't hold anything back. I played the recording right then and there on freaking Bluetooth. I was like, let's crank this shit up. And he listens to it. Hi, Boo Boo. He listens to it. And I'm sitting here like this, like we're in real time. And I'm like, and he goes, what? And I was like, what do you mean, what? And he was like, what? Why did you record that? And I said, did you just hear that woman? And he was like, she's my assistant. Of course she's going to have an opinion about everything I do in my life. She's my assistant. And I was like, dude, you are backwards. You've got problems. And he was like, I don't know why you would record that. He was like, that's just how my life is run. She runs my life. I don't think they slept together, Kestrel. She looks like the Marlboro Man. No joke. And I'm not even being mean. She's one of the most unattractive people I've ever seen. I doubt it, but maybe. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure. But it's something that it sits with me. It still sits with me. It was horrible. And I never brought it up to her, by the way. I never said I recorded her. It's been hard for me to this day. I've wanted to call her and say, I just want you to know that I think you're a terrible person. I think you have an ugly heart. And it makes it worse that you claim that you're a Christian and you use God against people, because I don't believe that God would want that. And I also know that you know all about that Jester stuff. And I'm surprised that that sits well with you. And so it's just something that, yeah, dominates him big time. He did throw me under the bus. And so it just got worse and worse for me. Yeah, I think it all stems back to mother issues. Galen, you're right. And I think the reason he treated me like shit and not her, I think, is because he always looked down on me because of my age. He was never going to be that way with me. He was never going to be protective, apologetic, defend me. He was never going to do that because I was half his age. And I feel like anytime I would say something, he'd go, well, you're just a stupid fucking Scientologist. Why would I take any advice from you? Why would I listen to anything you have to say? You were raised in a cult. You're using your training against me. Like, I already had that against me. It was never going to work. He was Joel Sachs. He was never going to take my word or advice, or he was never like, I told him in the very beginning when I met her, I said, that woman's a problem. Mark my words. I may not be good at a lot of things, but I'm very good at reading people for the most part. And I'm good at knowing who to trust and who not to trust. When I meet you in real life, I either get a good feeling or I don't. And I don't think that's some special power. A lot of people can do that. I think a lot of women can do that. It's just intuition, right? I told him that woman is a problem, and it's going to be a problem in our marriage. And I knew that from day one when she held that door shut and threatened me. I knew it. I knew that was going to be a problem. And he was basically like, fuck you. That's my assistant. Like, I need this person. They couldn't live without each other. It was a very unhealthy pair. But it was so upsetting because of the fact that also she was older, but I think had this whole Christian persona. Like his mother, no, she was not at our wedding. No, hell no, she was not at our wedding. But I think she is the word personified. His mother, very judgmental and very, very, very deeply religious. I think that made her safe. More so safe, like I'm going to defend her to my death, safe. And you are an enemy because you came from Scientology and you don't know anything. You're just this little nothing. You're a pebble in my shoe. You're an annoyance. And that's how he saw me. And it was never healthy. And I love that we just talked about this because I feel like yes, VTV. I feel like I just reached a bit of a breakthrough on that, even talking it out. I have to talk things out because then I get to the other side. And I'm not sure, Kestrel, but it really makes me look at that differently now. He was never, whether he quit that ugly group that he was in or not, it would have never. Because I'm going to be honest, I feel unsettled about that marriage. I feel like there's not enough closure for me yet. But just now, even I feel more closure because he was never going to see me as an equal. He was never going to respect me. I had all those things against me. And the biggest one was that I was not a Christian. I didn't know the Bible. I didn't have a relationship with God. And I couldn't quote it. And I came from Scientology, which already made me less of a human being. I deserved less respect because he called me all the time an uneducated idiot. All the time. Those were the words. You're an uneducated idiot. Or you're a stupid Scientologist. Think about that for a minute. Because I'm actually thinking about it right now. What does that mean? That means I have no respect for you because you are less than. You are less than me. I'm always going to walk all over you. I'm always going to know more than you. And that hurts. That hurt me so much all the fucking time being told that I'm an idiot. I was like, I'm not. And I know things just because I don't live on the same, upbringing as you. Yeah. Why did he marry me? I'm not sure. My mother asks me that a lot. Like, why did he want to be married to you? And the answer, I think, to that, because I know this person well enough to know optics, the way he was viewed was very important. His image is extremely important to him. So what I think is it was enough to marry me because he told me this, it made his friends jealous. He loved having somebody half his age to show off and bring around to the parties. And all the guys would go, "You're a lucky man." And I think that was enough. If you look at all the hooker history of all the using of the women, paying for women, that's all I was. I was one that was a permanent live-in prostitute, I think, for him. And that's hard for me to accept. And it's hard for me to process that. Because I thought that it was thank you, babe. I thought it was a real relationship. I thought it was going to be a real marriage. But looking back on it, I absolutely believe now, after knowing there was like 50 prostitutes, I was just one of them. I just happened to be one that he brought home permanently and kept. And that doesn't sit well with me. I have to be honest. I'm not fully worked through that. That's not what I signed up for. And That's why I don't feel closure yet. I don't feel closure. As a matter of fact, I won't get to, but I really would like to have a conversation with him. I hate it because in my mind, I know what I want to say because talking things out is how I get through things. Hey, Andy, and it's not going to happen. It's not a good idea. And I know that. But I would love to have a sit down and talk with him and cry and just say, you really did a number on me, man. But whose fault is it? It's mine. I shouldn't have stuck around for it. I knew it was not okay. So instead, I talk to you guys because that's healthier. And I feel, yeah, BTV knows how I process things. I know, Alana. And that's the thing. It's like my dad. If he was tied up and gagged, you could tell him everything you wanted to. Yeah. It's like my dad. I'd love to have a sit down and talk to him, but he would never understand it. He never had the love to give, nor did the ex. It was not there to begin with. He wouldn't appreciate it, Shelley. He wouldn't appreciate it, and it would all come back on me. I guarantee you, I told Tommy this. I wish right now that he were reflecting my ex and going, I really miss her. I'm sorry that I let that go. He is not. He is doubling down, going, I'm glad she's gone because of this, this, and this. She was toxic. She was a narcissist. She was controlling. She used her Scientology powers. She was a horrible person, not a person of God. All of those things are what's going on. And I hate that. And I think I hate that because I wish my dad were doing that too. I wish my dad were going, I miss my daughter. I wish she were still in my life, but because of my actions, but he's not. He's doubling down, going, I wish she were dead. She's a suppressive person that doesn't deserve to be on planet Earth. That's how my dad feels about me. And it's the same thing. And that's hard to take. It's a burn. It burns that you know that somebody doesn't sit there missing you or reflecting, going, she brought a lot of good things to the table. No. I guarantee you, both men in my previous life there are going, what a horrible person. And I wish she were dead. Both of them are saying that. Toward a Wyatt session. Thank you. I will use that for him. I haven't seen him in over a month. So thank you, Muppet Lou. I will. That's amazing. Thank you. Also, toward a Wyatt. Thank you, Rachel Harmon. I will. I love you, girl. Thank you. I thought of that too, Brooke Elliott, like writing a letter and then not mailing it. Yeah, that's true too. Some people don't care about the search for the truth only if they can create a nice sounding narrative. Absolutely. Kiki Reese, you are going to have to accept and make peace with no true closure. It sucks, but moving on and letting go will find peace within yourself. I think you're right. But I still have to be honest with you guys. Sometimes that's not enough. And I think it's because it's so fresh. It's so fresh. But I would like to have a conversation still. And I know it's not possible. Don't worry, guys. No one needs to talk me off that ledge. I'm not going to call him. I'm not going to do that. But it's hard for me. It's really hard for me sometimes. Liz Tricks. Toward a Wyatt session. Thank you. Okay. I will absolutely put it toward that. I promise you, Liz Tricks. Thank you. That is so kind. That is so kind of you, and I love you. You got to write a book. I really do want to write a book now more than ever. Candy's Life, I love you too. I won't, Muffet Lou. I'll never speak to him again. Have you ever thought of recording a video addressing him but not sending it, or a letter? I could, but I would probably do it on here. I do. I just want that closure, Dawn. And we have to accept the fact sometimes that we're not going to get that closure. We're just not. V. McWilliams, it will never be for either of them. They are such narcissistic buffoons. Kev says, I need to write a book, Raymond. Tell Kev I love him. Hey, Lionheart. Yeah, this is my verbal book for sure. This might be old conditioning. It's okay to have these feelings. The reality won't yield results you think from them, but getting it from yourself will. BTV, you're absolutely right. You're on the money tonight, girl. You usually are. And I won't, Pat Kimbrell. Don't let them steal your joy. I had closure after 22 years. Ancestors, a bad breakup. All was forgiven both ways, and we moved on. But I get it. Yeah, Joe. And I think, guys, he's watching Reese. I'm sure he is. And if he is, you know, there was just so many things that we both did that we shouldn't have been together. But I still have a lot of, I think about you a lot. If he is watching right now, I think about you a lot. And it's because it's still new and fresh. And it's not one of those things like you're taking up rent in my head. It's not like that. I'm not obsessing. I'm not sitting here going, I can't stop thinking about it. I reflect. And I don't think you're capable of that. And I wish you were. And I wish that you would get a therapist. And I think everybody should. Mental health is a big deal. And I wish that someday you and I could have a conversation about it. A healthy conversation, but I know that's not possible. Yeah, give me a super chat if you're watching. Yeah, he would rather probably stick needles in his eyes. But it's just I think it's coming to the surface there too. And it should, right? It's fresh, it's new. Um yeah, that's true, BTV. If he is watching, your behavior was gross and highly disrespectful. Please read that Bible, but for real this time. Yeah, I do have a problem with people who do that. I absolutely have high respect, and I've said this 100 times. People who have a relationship with God, I'm jealous of. People who know God, people who know their God, people who have faith and talk to some higher power, I'm always envious of that because I didn't get that relationship and I would like to have a relationship with God. But I really hate people who go around shaming you because of their relationship with God or their relationship with the Bible and they're a Christian and you're not. I really hate that shit. I think it's a beautiful thing when people just have some kind of a dynamic with their God. But you don't have to rub that in my face because I don't have that. Trust me, I know I don't have that. And I wish that I did. Shelly, don't cut yourself up in more digestive pieces for others. Stay whole and let them choke. I love you, Shelly. You're so good. Thank you for your super chat, babe. Thank you for always being my friend. Thank you, Candy's Life. That's very nice. That's kind of you. I agree with that, VTV, because I've seen it. And Melissa, I think you're right. Wyatt will help me with that. And they don't walk the walk. That's right. Joe Virus, you're so right about that. Yeah, and Liz Trick says, so do we who are Christians. I've just always had an issue with people who rub any religion in your face. That's one of the reasons I never talked about Scientology with people, even though we were supposed to, guys. It's called disseminating. I don't know if that's a real life word or a Scientology word, but in Scientology, you're supposed to disseminate, which means get it out there, get the word out there, and recruit in other Scientologists. I never did that because I respected people's religious views. It's like politics. Why would I rub something that I feel in your face when you don't feel that way? That's so fucking disrespectful to me. Don't rub in my face that you're a Christian. If you want to show me something that's cool about your religion, that's great. But don't go, I'm a Christian and you're clearly not because of this. That's not okay. It's not okay. And I don't feel like that's something that God would want. I don't want to speak for God because I don't have a relationship with God, but I'd like to. Thank you, Helena. I love when people gift memberships. It's really kind, babe. Thank you. No, Debbie Zito, it's not too late. But I'm so glad to hear that. This conversation is actually quite healing for me. West Coast Fancy Nancy, I'm happy to hear that. If we could just do that with one person in every stream, that's all I need to know. Yeah, Lumen, it's a huge pet peeve. I just think your relationship with God should be a personal thing, very personal thing. And if you want to share that relationship with me, I think that's beautiful. But don't rub it in my face that I don't have that relationship or that I should, but I don't deserve it because I did this and that. Because that's what he used to say to me. You're never going to be a Christian because God would never accept you. It's fucking ridiculous and it's hateful. And I know one thing, God is not hate. God is not about hate. So it's like Tommy says, if something drives you to love, do that. If something drives you to be more hateful, get the hell away from that. Robin, it's healing for me to watch you process and heal in real time. When you lose the heavy stuff, we do too. I love that. And that's my goal every time we do a stream, Robin. Thank you for sharing that with me in your super chat. I love that. Yeah, and I don't like when people try to speak for God. I like that you want to share something with me about God. Tommy does that with me sometimes, but he is so good at not pushing it on me or making me feel uncomfortable about it. And I think that he also knows that in my own time, if I choose to, I will reach for that. It is not something you can push on people. I don't believe that religion or politics is something you should push on people. Let them reach for it and let them discover for themselves. Politics will never be discussed here ever. And because also I don't know much about politics, I don't get into politics, but I know that I've seen enough. I was married to somebody who was psychotically political. You guys probably know that. Hi, Bo Beats. I love you. And I would watch that person on social media shove their agenda down other people's throats. And I said all the time, why can't you just let people believe or vote for whoever they want to vote for? Why do you have this need to shove it? And he would say, because they don't have the facts and I got to give them those facts. They need the facts. I got to give them the facts or they'll never know the truth. And it's like, and that's your job? Let people figure things out for themselves. Did you ever think of that? Did you ever think that people don't want you to give them solutions? It's the same thing with God for me. I don't want that shoved down my throat. I want to find that out for myself in a loving way. If you ever want to, Reese, I can help answer questions you might have about knowing God. Yeah, I knew that about you, Blake, and I love you for saying that. Thank you. And I may want to do that with you guys sometime. And you, Blake. And I know that Tommy has a very strong relationship with God. And I'm envious of that. I think that's a beautiful thing. And he wasn't just born with it. He spent a lot of time reading when he was in prison and finding things out for himself. And I have to say, I respect and admire that even more, that it wasn't something shoved down his throat from birth. He sought things out and read for himself and then came to a decision. And that's what I've always wanted for me. That's what I've always wanted for Huxley. I want you to find out what fits right in your heart instead of me telling you what's right. Religion is such a very personal thing to me. I don't know. I just feel like it's not something that you should shame. You should never use God to shame someone. You just shouldn't. And people do it a lot. Him and his family did that a lot. His whole family did that a lot. Use God to shame. And I always thought, I don't know God. I'm going to be honest. You're in waters that I am not familiar with. But I do know that this isn't God. I just know in my heart, I know this isn't God. I don't know God, but I know enough that this isn't him. What you're doing to me right now is not what God would want, right? It doesn't feel right. So I wish people wouldn't do that. But I do think it's a beautiful thing when people have a religion that they hold close to them. I think it's a beautiful thing when people have a relationship with God. And it makes me envious. I think it's beautiful. I love that Tommy has a relationship with God, and I hope that someday I can too. I don't know if I will or won't.
I love that you want it and just want you to know how you can have it. Your relationship with God is very personal. Thank you, Katie did. I know I can too. I just think it's like right now, I'm just unpacking so much. It makes me think of Fred. Fred helps me get to places, I think, in the right time. I would not absorb or understand something unless it happened to me at the right time. It's like when the teacher appears when the student is ready. Is that right? I believe that things happen when I'm ready, and slowly but surely things are happening as I'm ready. And I believe that that probably will happen at some point. I will have a relationship with God, but I'm not there yet. And hummingbird, God loves us. He is love. Now I believe that. God's opinion is the only one that matters, not man made rules or opinions. They are the ones who have to ask God's forgiveness. Now, see, that is something that I'm willing to get to. I'm just not there yet. I have a hard time understanding that concept. But Ann Hummingbird, that is such a nice thing to say. And I can absolutely agree with you saying God is love. I believe God is love. I do believe that. That's about as far as I can get, though. I just have to do my own research. Panko, as a kid, the nuns used to say that the devil knows the Bible better than anyone else. I have a lot of respect for you and your open mind. Thank you, Panko. What an interesting thing. I'm trying to process that. Hey, Bigsy. So I'm assuming, Panko, that were you Catholic? Because my mom was raised Catholic. Nuns are Catholic, right? Is that right? As a kid, the nuns used to say that the devil knows the Bible better than anyone else. Is that also because the devil was uh, an angel? Is that right? The devil at one point like knew the Bible really well. Hey, Jenny Wong. Yes, Panko said yes. Okay. Panko, first of all, thank you for your giant super chat. You're always so kind. Thank you for that. It's very generous, but it's an interesting, like, I believe that concept. The devil probably knows the Bible, but I don't know better than anyone else, but I know the devil probably knows the Bible, right? Because the devil was worked for God, right? That's an interesting concept. Panko, thank you for your super chat. Thank you for saying that. Fred is your version of a faith, and that's beauty. Sophia, for sure. I do feel like Fred is a messenger of God. I don't see, that makes me emotional even saying that. I don't know anything about God, but I know that Fred had a deep relationship with God. And he always used to say he was so calm about it when he would talk about death. And I would start crying. And he would go, "It's all right, kid. Whenever God pulls my name out of the hat, it's time to go home to God's house." Like he just very much had that strength and faith with God. And so now I love when I feel like maybe blessed. I don't use that word very much, but I feel blessed by Fred. Like things happen to me, and I always think, I know that was him. I just know it was. I feel like he's with me all the time. And I feel like he is that connection to God. And I also feel like Fred would like me to have some kind of a relationship with God. And if this is what it has to be, like he's the go between, I feel like he's okay with that. But I also feel like in time, Fred helps my eyes to open to different things and see things. Like now, I keep saying things are bubbling to the surface for me that I have to deal with that I've never dealt with. Like the thing I shared with you today, I'd never shared before, not even in a Scientology auditing session. And it just came to the surface for me, and I feel like I have to deal with it. And I just really love that. It is, Panko. I agree with that. It's a reaction to hypocrisy and Bible thumping nasty people. Yeah. Teresa Reese, living in your truth and with an open heart and loving kindness toward one's yourself, others, animals, and earth is a spiritual life. I love that too. And see, I'm okay with that too, Teresa. Like, I'm okay with just having the relationship I have now between Fred and God, because I know that I love this, like, planet Earth. I love Mother Earth. I have a deep appreciation for nature and animals, and I have a relationship with animals, and I feel things on deep levels, especially living here now with all this land around me. And just I look at the sky at night and that moon we had last week, and I just think there's something so much bigger than me, and I'm thankful for it. Whatever it is, I feel very thankful. So whether it's spiritual or, religious, I'm starting to feel more whole about it, but I do have things that I still want to research and know more about. And now that I'm not in Scientology, I'm allowed to do that. I'm allowed to do that. We were never allowed to research God in Scientology. Never. Never. And so it's a very yeah, Shelley. It's a very freeing feeling to me that I'm allowed to take these blinders off and look that way and look that way and be able to check outside of my surroundings, because in Scientology, you are not allowed to go any other way. And thank you, Kestrel. I take that as a compliment. I feel like my mother is a witch. I don't mind being a witch. Tony Suter, I love you. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, VTV, for sure. I am free to explore now. And I like the idea that I'm allowed to look in the direction of God and see what I see and feel what I feel and not feel to be made wrong about it. Coach Lisa, I love that you made it. That's all I'm saying. It's odd. They talk about God in OT8, I think. I never made it to OT8, Jamie Palmer. I don't think that they do. The eighth dynamic, there are 8 dynamics. The eighth dynamic is spirituality. So I don't know. I don't know, but I know that I was in session once and my auditor and I started asking questions about God. And he took me out of session. We remained in session, but he took me out of session. We went to the Qual Library. It's called the Qual Library. It's the Qualifications Library. And that's where all of LRH's works are written. Okay. It's a library. We go into the Qual Library and I'm asking about God. And my auditor pulls a book out. It's the Tech Vols, the technical volumes. Love you, Shelley. Thank you again. And he pulls open the technical volumes and he pulls open a bulletin and he points to it. Now, auditors don't say much when you're in session. So we're in session and he points to it. And it says, quote, heaven is an implant. An implant is something that we were implanted with when we were out of our bodies on the whole track. Okay. Grassi there, 3. It's better to get. Oh, yeah, better together. I was wondering where you've been. Can you take a minute to see the girl who is waiting for Roy that day? What would you say to her as an adult? I would tell her Roy was special. More friends are on their way. Pick her up and bring her forward in your life. That's really nice. And he was a great kid and a good friend. Thank you for saying that. It was really hard for me to wait for him that day. I just appreciate you even acknowledging it. I should have talked about this sooner. I don't think I've ever really talked about it, and it's heavy. And I appreciate your super chat, babe, but thank you for saying that. Hey, Snake. I love you, by the way. Thank you for being here better together. You think God brought you to Tommy? I love that. See, that's a beautiful thing to say. That's not offensive. It's a beautiful thing to say. But it said, heaven is an implant. And I said, heaven is an implant. And he pointed to it. And I said, what does that mean? And you're not allowed to interpret L. Ron Hubbard. It is what it is. Okay. So I said, what does that mean? And my auditor doesn't talk. And he goes, and he points me back to it. And I go, but an implant, how? Like, so it's not real? Heaven's fake? And he goes, because you're not allowed to talk about it. He can't break it down for me and make sense of it. You just have to look at the words that L. Ron Hubbard said and take them as truth and figure it the fuck out. So, that's really, I remember that moment and I was like, okay, so that's it. That's just it. Like I wanted to know more about God and there is no researching it. So to answer your question about that, Jamie Palmer, I don't know how much God comes up. I don't know because it didn't come up for me in Scientology ever. I remember my dad telling me a little bit when I was like 7 years old about the Bible. I was asking questions, and he was like, "The Bible is a complete crock of shit. That's all you need to know." That's what he told me because he was a hardcore Scientologist. And from then on, kids, babe, Moose is really trying to. These damn children. There we go. Thanks, honey.
Yeah, come
Oh,
here,
I noticed you still have a shirt on.
I do.
Are you okay?
I am.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Notice you have clothes on. I'm going to sign off because we've been on a long time, but I really needed to get this stuff out. And I just appreciate you guys listening to me. I appreciate this being a safe space. And it is a safe space for me, but it also is for everybody else. And some of this stuff's really heavy, and I want to kind of go through and dive through some of it over the next few weeks. You know, Tommy's going to be going back to Arizona pretty soon. And I love you, V-Bombs. I'm going to be probably trying to stream more while he's gone to be with you guys. And I would like to delve into some of this stuff. It did help Ivy's mama. Tony, thank you, VTV. So happy you brought these thoughts and past experiences to the chat. Don't underestimate how much you're helping so many of us. That is such a nice thing to say. And that is really validating for me. It's today, for some reason, I was a little nervous about sharing today. I felt a little bit vulnerable and like this is some stuff I've never shared. And it was some things I've never shared. I was a little bit embarrassed to go there, but I wanted to do it. It felt good to do it. It felt right. I don't do it unless it feels right. So I'm not forcing anything here. I did it because I wanted to. But I love you, Jamie Palmer. I just want to say thank you for listening to me. And it just means the world. It helps me to heal. And I know that some other people, Lori Lee, I love you. And thank you again for your gift. It helps others too, because I know you guys have shared that with me. Are we ever going to see Tommy in gray sweatpants? Oh my God, let's do that before he leaves town. No question. I'll definitely send you a photo, Tampa B. Thank you for your super chat. He is so hot in gray sweatpants. I got him some at the Goodwill. I get it now. I get the gray sweatpant thing. I never understood it. I get it now. Now, Tommy just has a pretty hot body anyway. Divine timing, divine order. You might not recognize the relationship with the universe yet, but the universe definitely is in a relationship with you. That is cool. I love your words, BTV. Thank you. Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you, Andy Flowers. Liz Tricks, I love you, by the way. Guys, I just want to say thank you. Panko, if you're still in here, that was really something. Thank you for your super chat. Better Together, your super chat was amazing. I loved your words. Guys, thank you for listening to that. I never talked about Roy. Yeah, you can, Christine. Absolutely. I never talked about Roy. And, well, I might show you guys a sexy picture right now if you want to see it of Tommy. My parents had a dirt bike that Tommy was riding. And he got it out. They let him get it out. And you guys want to see something hot? Because it's hot. All right. Ooh-wee. Look at that sexy. Hot, so hot. Really hot. Yeah, riding the dirt bike. Looking pretty hot. I got a video of him riding it today at my parents' at the farm. Check him out. Look how cute he is. Yeah, sexy ass Crim. You knew it. You knew it well. Yeah, he's pretty cute. It's not a purple jester bike. No, it is not. And my parents would not have one of those, but he is pretty cute in that thing. He's pretty cute. So again, sorry I stayed on so long. You know, we used to do these all the time, but it felt good to get this out tonight. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for just being here. It just means a lot, I think, to all of us in this chat. What a tight-knit community we are. And I realize there's always going to be hatred. That's always going to be there. But there's always going to be more love here. And there is. And we really do have a tight knit community. And I appreciate everything you guys do for me. I really do. You're such good friends and you have such good input, and it helps me to heal so much. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I love you guys. And I'll see you again soon. But thank you tonight for everything. Meant the world. I'm going to sleep really well, and I hope you guys do too. Absolutely, Panko. Mods, thank you for being here. And guys, here comes Fred, and you're all so cute. And so is Fred. Look at him. So cute.